All right. So you didn't buy Bitcoin last year when it was $4,000. You didn't buy Ethereum when it was $100. Right now, Bitcoin is at 60,000 and Ethereum is hitting all-time highs at 2,000. That's okay. And the truth is, if we would have known at the time that it was going to do what it's going to do, we all would have bought it. And everyone would have bought it because you would have made a ton of money. But you didn't. I didn't. I didn't buy Ethereum at $100. I didn't buy I bought Bitcoin at 2,800 or 2,400, and then I bought $8 of it. It went to 10, and I sold it, and then watched it ride up to 20,000 and back down. And anyways, but I didn't buy it all at 4,000. Slowly accumulated it over time. Same with Ethereum and different things. But we didn't buy it at $100 and didn't buy a ton of Bitcoin at 4,000. Now we could look back and we could go, dang it, man, if I only would have. Well, yeah, if I only would have bought Apple when it started, if I only would have bought Microsoft when it started, if I only would have bought Facebook when it started. We could do that all day long, and we could do that with every successful company that's out there. Cryptocurrency is about to hit a $2 trillion market cap, meaning that all the money that's in it is about to hit $2 trillion. That's huge. So if you didn't buy it $100 for Ethereum, you didn't buy it 4,000 for Bitcoin, who cares? Honestly, it does not matter at this point because it's just going to continue to go up. It's going to rise. And maybe it's just because I've studied this space so much and so hard, I have zero fear putting money into cryptocurrency. Now I want to reiterate, it doesn't have to be a lot of money. $10, $20, $30 that turns into 10 to 100, 200, 300. It's huge. And it can be totally life-changing, but you haven't missed the boat. It hasn't set sail yet. People are just boarding the ship. Now, like I said, I've studied a lot. And so I have zero fear putting money into cryptocurrency. But I also really like my friends and my family, and I want them to get into it because I think the dollar is dying. Now, my opinion, right? So take it for what it's worth, is free content. I think the dollar's failing. You can look at the dollar index compared to other currencies. All currencies are going down right now. All fiat money, meaning that's centrally controlled. So we have the Federal Reserve that is not federal, it's not a reserve, and they create money. Now that money is then loaned to our government, who distributes it out however they distribute it out. Goes to other countries, goes to corporations, eventually comes to us, kind of. A little tiny bit of it comes to us. Now in the moment, we're like, dang, this is awesome, $1,400, so cool. I can go out and buy something, or I can buy Bitcoin, or I can put it towards debt, or whatever. In the moment, it feels great. But we don't realize what's really going on in the background. We don't realize that the Federal Reserve balance sheet has doubled in the last year. We are so far in debt in this country that it is ridiculous. Now, debt in and of itself is not a bad thing. We've been in debt essentially since this country started. It's not necessarily a bad thing. The bad thing is how in debt we are. It worries me for my family's future, my kids' future, my grandkids' future, because it essentially enslaves them to extremely high taxes and just everything that comes along with debt, which is, in my mind, is the anti-freedom. Because you always have something held over your head. So it's kind of like property rights. We might own property, but we don't really own the property, because if you don't pay your taxes on it, you have a bad year and you don't pay your taxes, it's taken away from you. If you have a vehicle and you don't pay it, obviously that gets repossessed. Well, at some point, we're so in debt in the nation that we're just working to pay it back. and the freedom is gone. In my mind, it's lost. So that freaks me out. I've gone off a little bit, but I guess continuing this, how do we fix it? The only way that we fix it is voting the establishment out of office, because they don't care about you. They don't know monetary policy or fiscal policy, and they don't want to. So Ron Paul, I think he was on a Republican ticket, but he's very libertarian, and he was in Congress. He said, people in Congress don't want to understand monetary and fiscal policy because they know that if they do, then they can't get their bills passed in order to get them reelected. They don't want to know that by print, or they don't care to know or care to study that just coming up with dollars, just making them. It's not tied to anything. It's not tied to silver. It's not tied to gold. It's not tied to anything. It's just printed. The amount of supply is just increasing. Well, what happens when it just continues to increase at a parabolic rate? It's not worth anything. So if you start to think of things like silver, gold, cryptocurrencies, I want to say real estate, and I think it still is real estate, but it's a little bit scary right now just because of the astronomical prices that things are. But silver, gold, cryptocurrencies, because they're compared to the dollar, and a lot of them have a fixed supply, like Bitcoin, completely fixed supply at 21 million. There will never be more than 21 million. The price can only increase. So you didn't buy Ethereum at $100. Who cares? You didn't buy Bitcoin at 4,000. Who cares? The fact is Bitcoin right now is at 60 and Ethereum's at all-time highs at 2,000, and it will only continue to go up. So don't regret not buying those things when we could have, because there's lots of things that we could think of in that regard. And number two, so don't regret it. Number two, vote these people out of office that don't care about you. They just don't care. There's so few people in Congress that actually care about the American public. They have to be voted out of office. We have to stand up. We have to talk. We have to raise our voice, be heard, try not to get canceled on social media, and then vote them out of office. Vote for freedom, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, freedom to say the things that we want to say, freedom to be able to protect our family with Second Amendment rights, inalienable rights, God-given, what you were born with, those rights. They're really being taken away right now. As I sit here in my living room, they're being taken away, and it is just nuts. And I think that our freedom, so I've studied cryptocurrencies and hard assets so much over the last couple of years that I actually think that they are linked. I think that silver, gold, and cryptocurrencies and freedom are completely linked. If you look way back, 1913, and honestly, even before then, the creation of the Federal Reserve, and then watching what's happened to the dollar, freedom and fiat currency, or lack of freedom and fiat currency, fiat meaning that it's not controlled by us, it's controlled by a central entity, they're linked. Non-freedom and fiat currency are linked. Freedom comes with hard money. It comes with free market. Those are my thoughts. You're not too late to the game. Any of, honestly, probably the top 100 cryptocurrencies are just going to continue to raise in value. And number two, we got to vote these people out of office that don't care for you. So two things that seem very unconnected, but I believe are very connected. So those are my thoughts. Have a great day. And get out and enjoy the sunshine. It's good for us.